وبرا بوالدتي ولم يجعلني جبارا شقيا.
And has made me dutiful to my mother. He has not made me oppressive, nor bereft of God's blessings.
20. People who misinterpret the Quran translate this verse as, "How shall we talk with him, who is but a child of yesterday?" They attribute these words to the elderly people of the Jews, who said years later, when Jesus was a grown-up boy, that they could not have any useful dialogue with a mere kid. But the person who keeps the whole context in view, will realize that this interpretation is absurd and has been given merely to avoid the miracle. As a matter of fact, the dialogue took place when the people were condemning Mary, who being unmarried, had brought forth a child, and not when the child had grown up into manhood. Ayat 46 of Surah Al-Imran, and Ayat 110 of Surah Al-Madah, also support the view that Prophet Jesus had uttered these words as a baby in the cradle and not when grown up. In the first verse, the angel, while giving the good news of a son to Mary, says, "He will speak to the people alike when in the cradle and when grown up." In the other verse, Allah Himself says to Prophet Jesus, "You talk to the people even in the cradle as you talked when you were grown up." 20a. The words used are, "dutiful to my mother," instead of "dutiful to my parents." This is another proof of the fact that Jesus, peace be upon him, had no father, and for the same reason he has been called Jesus, son of Mary, everywhere in the Quran.
وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيَّ يَوْمَ وُلِدتُّ وَيَوْمَ أَمُوتُ وَيَوْمَ أُبْعَثُ حَيًّا.
Peace be upon me the day I was born, and the day I will die, and the day I will be raised up alive.
21. This speech in the cradle by Jesus was the sign to which the angel referred in Ayat 21. As Allah intended to punish the children of Israel for their continuous wicked ways and evil deeds, He made a pious virgin girl of the family of Prophet Aaron, who had devoted herself to worship in the temple under the patronage of Zachariah, bear a child and bring it before her people in order to concentrate the whole attention of the thousands of people assembled there on this extraordinary event. Then he made this newborn child speak out even in the cradle that he had been appointed a prophet. Though they had seen this wonderful sign of Allah, they rejected the prophethood of Jesus and brought him to the court for crucifixion, and thus incurred the wrath of Allah. For further details, please see Surah Al-Imran ENs 44 and 53.
ذلك عيسى ابن مريم قول الحق الذي فيه يمترون.
This is Jesus, the son of Mary, peace be upon him, and this is the truth about him concerning which they are in doubt.
ما كان لله أن يتخذ من ولد سبحانه إذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون.
It does not befit Allah to take for himself a son. Glory be to him. When he decrees a thing, he only says, "Be," and it is.
And Surah An-Nisa ENs 212, 213. 22. In Ayats 1 to 35, it has been shown that the doctrine of the Son of God, in regard to Prophet Jesus, is absolutely wrong. For just as the miraculous birth of Prophet John did not make him the Son of God, so the miraculous birth of Prophet Jesus could not make him the Son of God. For the births of both were the result of the same sort of miracle as they have been mentioned together in the same context in the Gospel of Luke. Therefore, it is mere distortion that the Christians should regard one as the servant of God and the other as the Son of God.
وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ رَبِّي وَرَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُوهُ هَذَا صِرَاطٌ مُسْتَقِيمٌ.
Jesus, peace be upon him, had said, "Indeed, Allah is my Lord and your Lord, so serve him alone. This is the straight way."
23. This declaration by Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, has been cited to tell the Christians that Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, also taught the same doctrine of Tawheed as was taught by all other prophets. And it was they who had invented the doctrine of Shirk by making him the Son of God. Please also refer to Al-Imran EN 68 and Al-Madah ENs 100, 101 and 130.
فاختلف الأحزاب من بينهم فويل للذين كفروا من مشهد يوم عظيم.
But different parties began to dispute with one another. A dreadful woe awaits on that great day for those that reject the truth.
24. That is, the sects of the Christians.
أسمع بهم وأبصر يوم يأتوننا لكن الظالمون اليوم في ضلال مبين.
How well shall they hear, and how well shall they see on the day they come to us. But today the evildoers are in manifest error.
وأنذرهم يوم الحسرة إذ قضي الأمر وهم في غفلة وهم لا يؤمنون.
O Muhammad, peace be upon him, warn those who are steeped in heedlessness and are obstinately rejecting the truth that the day shall come when things will be finally decided and they shall be left with utter remorse.
إنا نحن نرث الأرض ومن عليها وإلينا يرجعون.
Ultimately, we shall inherit the earth and whatever is on it. To us shall they be returned.
25. Here the address which was meant to be delivered before King Negus and his courtiers comes to an end. In the introduction to this surah, we have already stated the historical background of this address. In order to form an idea of its great significance, it should be kept in mind that a. This address was sent down at the time when the persecuted Muslims of Mecca were going to migrate to a Christian kingdom so that they may present before the Christians the true Islamic creed about Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him. This shows that the Muslims under no circumstances should conceal the truth. B. It shows a most wonderful moral courage of the Muslim migrants to Hawash that they recited this address in the royal court at the critical moment, and the courtiers who had been bribed were bent on handing them over to their enemies. They indeed were faced with the real threat. That this frank Islamic criticism of the basic articles of the Christian faith might turn the king against them and he might hand them over to the Quraysh. But in spite of this, they presented the whole truth before the king without the least hesitation.
واذكر في الكتاب إبراهيم إنه كان صديقا نبيا.
O Muhammad, peace be upon him, recite in the book the account of Abraham, peace be upon him. Most surely he was a man of truth, a prophet.
26. From here the address is directed towards the people of Mecca, who had forced their own near and dear relatives to emigrate from their homes, just as Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, had been exiled by his own father and brethren. The story of Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, has been selected for this purpose because the Quraysh professed to accept him as their religious leader and were proud of being his descendants.
إذ قال لأبيه يا أبت لم تعبد ما لا يسمع ولا يبصر ولا يغني عنك شيئا.
And remind people, when he said to his father, Father, why do you worship that which neither sees nor hears, and which can be of no avail to you?
يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك فاتبعني أهدك صراطا سويا.
Father, a knowledge that has not reached you has come to me. So follow me, that I may guide you to a straight way.
يا أبت لا تعبد الشيطان إن الشيطان كان للرحمن عصيا.
Father, do not serve Satan, for Satan has indeed been a persistent rebel against the most compassionate Lord.
27. It should be noted that the literal translation of the Arabic text is, "Do not worship Satan," though Abraham's father and the other people did not worship Satan in the same sense as they worshipped idols. But as they followed and obeyed Satan, he accused them of worshipping Satan. Thus it is clear that if somebody follows and obeys Satan, he virtually worships him. For Satan has never been a deity in the sense that people have made him an object of worship. Nay, they have always been cursing him and following him at the same time. For further details see Surah Al-Kahf ENs 49-50. 27a. For explanation, see Surah At-Tawbah EN 112. 28.
يا أبت إني أخاف أن يمسك عذاب من الرحمن فتكون للشيطان وليا.
Father, I fear that a punishment from the most compassionate Lord might strike you, and you may end up as one of Satan's companions.
قال أراغب أنت عن آلهتي يا إبراهيم لئن لم تنته لأرجمنك واهجرني مليا.
The father said, Abraham, peace be upon him, have you turned away from my gods? If you do not give this up, I shall stone you to death. Now be gone from me forever.
قال سلام عليك سأستغفر لك ربي إنه كان بي حفيا.
Abraham, peace be upon him, answered, Peace be upon you. I shall seek pardon for you from my Lord. My Lord has always been kind to me.
وأعتزلكم وما تدعون من دون الله وأدعو ربي عسى ألا أكون بدعاء ربي شقيا.
I shall withdraw from you, and all that you call upon beside Allah. I shall only call upon my Lord. I trust the prayer to my Lord will not go unanswered.
فلما اعتزلهم وما يعبدون من دون الله وهبنا له إسحاق ويعقوب وكلا جعلنا نبيا.
Thereupon Abraham, peace be upon him, disassociated himself from his people and the deities they worshipped instead of Allah. And we bestowed upon him Isaac and Jacob, peace be upon them, and made each of them a prophet.
وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُم مِّن رَّحْمَتِنَا وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ لِسَانَ صِدْقٍ عَلِيًّا.
And we bestowed on them our mercy, and granted them a truly lofty renown.
This is to give comfort to the migrants who had been forced to migrate from their homes. They were told that they would be honored and blessed with true renown just as Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, had been blessed with true renown after his migration.
واذكر في الكتاب موسى إنه كان مخلصا وكان رسولا نبيا.
And recite in the book the account of Moses, peace be upon him. He was a chosen one, a messenger, a prophet.
29. The word used is mukhlasan, which means purified. In other words, Allah had specially chosen Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, for the mission of prophethood. 30. Rasul literally means the one who is sent, therefore it is used for an ambassador, envoy, messenger and representative. The Quran has used this title for angels, who are sent by Allah on a special mission, or for the human beings who brought his message to mankind. As regards the word Nabi, it literally means the one who brings news, or the one who is high in rank, or the one who shows the way. This title is used for the prophets in all the three senses. Thus Moses was a messenger prophet because he was a messenger of high rank who gave news from Allah and showed the right way to the people. The Quran does not necessarily differentiate between the use of the two titles, for sometimes it uses the title Rasul one place and the title Nabi for the same person at another place, and sometimes uses both the titles together for one and the same person. However, at some places each title has been used in a way as to show that there is some technical distinction between the two, though that has not been precisely marked out, except that every Rasul, messenger, is a Nabi, prophet, as well, but every Nabi may not be a Rasul, and that a Rasul has a special and more important mission to perform. This is supported by a tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him, which has been reported by Imam Ahmad from Abu Umama and by Hakim from Abu Zar. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, was asked how many messengers and prophets had been sent to the world, he said that the number of the messengers was 313 or 315 and of the prophets 124,000.
وناديناه من جانب الطور الأيمن وقربناه نجيا.
We called out to him from the right side of the mount, and we drew him near to us by communing to him in secret.
ووهبنا له من رحمتنا أخاه هارون نبيا.
And out of our mercy we appointed his brother Aaron, peace be upon him, a prophet, that he may assist him.
31. The right side of the mount means the eastern side of the mountain. As Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, on his way from Midian to Egypt, was passing from the southern side of Mount Tor, the eastern side would lie on his right and the western on his left if he faced the mountain, otherwise a mountain by itself cannot have a right or a left side. 32. C. En. 206 of Surah An-Nisa.
واذكر في الكتاب إسماعيل إنه كان صادق الوعد وكان رسولا نبيا.
And recite in the book the account of Ishmael, peace be upon him. He was ever true to his promise, and was a messenger, a prophet.
وكان يأمر أهله بالصلاة والزكاة وكان عند ربه مرضيا.
He enjoined his household to observe prayer and to give zakah, purifying alms, and his Lord was well pleased with him.
واذكر في الكتاب إدريس إنه كان صديقا نبيا.
And recite in the book the account of Idris, peace be upon him. He was a man of truth, a prophet.
33. There is a difference of opinion as to who Prophet Idris, peace be upon him, was. Some commentators opine that he was a prophet from among the Israelites, but the majority of them are inclined to the view that he was a prophet before Noah, peace be upon him. There is no authentic tradition which may help determine his identity. The next, verse 58, however, supports the view that he appeared before Prophet Noah, peace be upon him. For of all the prophets mentioned, he alone was the one who may be said to be from the descendants of Adam. The commentators are of the opinion that Idris was Enoch of the Old Testament, about whom it is said, and Enoch lived 65 years, and begat Methuselah, and Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years. And he was not, for God took him. General. 5:21-24. In Talmud, there are greater details about Enoch, which are briefly as follows. Before Noah, when the descendants of Adam began to degenerate, the angel of God called to Enoch, who led a pious life away from the people, and said, O Enoch, arise, come out from seclusion, and go about among the people of the earth, guiding them to the path which they should follow and the ways which they should adopt.